Boom. Boom. Come on, Naeem. A little bit of new all-time highs on Bitcoin, huh? The fuck? What do you think you're doing with Joey Bananas? I found out about Johnny Bananas. Apparently Johnny Bananas is a thing, right? I had no idea that there was a Johnny Bananas out there. Bobby was telling me about him yesterday. I was like, Johnny Bananas? Who the fuck is Johnny Bananas? I look him up. He's some influencer guy on Instagram. And what was Johnny Bananas doing? He was on some kind of show. I don't know. Whatever. But it's Joey Bananas. Who do you think you're dealing with? Joey Bananas? He's not a real human being. I know some of my avid listeners. By the way, quad shot to the dome because I'm a man. Quad. Dried. No black, no sugar, no cream, no cappuccino. No. Quad shot to the face. This is how you make money. This is how you get rich. You drink black espresso to the face, turn your blood into fire, and then you can look at charts and make sales and make money all day long. That's the secret to it, right? There's no other secret. That's the secret. And what was I saying? So they're looking up Joey Bananas, and he doesn't exist. It's just who you think you're dealing with is who he is. Clearly, you're not fucking dealing with Joey Bananas. You're dealing with me, the big dog, the savage, the man who's printing money this cycle, the one who's showing you inside the Taylor's code how to run up the bags. All right, gentlemen, let's fucking rock. Let's get right into the charts because we are in exciting times. We're breaking out right now on Bitcoin, and nobody seems to believe in it. Nobody seems to trust the move. Everybody thinks it's fugazi, fugaz. What's going to happen? We don't know. Da-da-da-da. Listen, my friends. Relax. We're breaking out, motherfucker. We're breaking out. Now I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to show you everything we've been looking at for months now that is coming to fruition. So I need my credit when credit is due. When everybody looks back and they say, oh, who could have foreseen something like this? I need every one of you to say, well, Priyamo did. He had foreseen all this. He had known that the likelihood was that the cycle was not over. And I'm going to go through a couple of things here that we've been tracking recently inside the Discord last night. They're going to prove why the cycle's still not over. Here's where we're at on Bitcoin, okay? 111,000. Clearly, we're pushing up above our previous highs, okay? Now, here's the concern that people have. The concern that people have is that we're doing something similar to what we did last cycle, which is a double top, okay? And understandably, I understand why you could say something like that. Yeah, this top and then this top. So people are thinking that Bitcoin is doing something like this and ends up rolling over into here, okay? I don't believe that's the case. I'll give you a couple of reasons why, okay? Number one, this was a much longer time frame in which this double top had played out. So the high was here. The next high was about 6% higher, okay? Let's take a look at this high. This was the high right here, and this is the current high. 1%. Hold on, let's take a look. Let's get this correct. 2%. Okay. So the last double top was a 6% move above the high from the last top. Okay. Now, what was the time frame in which this played out? First top, second top, 210 days. What's the time frame on this one? 119 days. So the time frame was shorter. We haven't gone quite up as high. Could there be confluence there? Potentially. The pullback from the high to the low. $55%. 30%. Could you say that's law of diminishing returns? Potentially, you could. But the way I'm looking at this is I don't see that as the same move. Is it similar? Absolutely. You can't deny that. But here's why I don't believe it's the same, okay? Because at this point, if we put on a cycle indicator, or not even a cycle indicator, a liquidity indicator, okay? Let's see. Let's see what global M2 was doing over here, because we're looking at M2, so we want to see. So last double top, how do we play here? So this is a leading indicator, right? So the global M2 started picking up speed here. And so did Bitcoin. Yep. So I hadn't even topped out yet before Bitcoin topped out. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to see what type of confluence there is between this double top and if this is potentially a double top here as well. Okay, so I'm literally going through this with you guys live just to see if there's any confluence. The liquidity M2 doesn't seem to give us any kind of alpha here because it's moving up, which makes sense. But yeah, it's not really giving us any alpha. So let's get rid of that. The difference, though, with this double top is we were cycle top at this point, okay? So let me pull up. Oops. I'm going to show you something very interesting here, okay? So watch this. Rustclut. I'm not meaning to do that. Okay, here we go. So here's the difference, right? Here's what I'm seeing. The last time we double topped, we had topped already in this cycle indicator, which is this Bitcoin Nvidia pair. Okay, this is a very important pair. This pair is called tops on Bitcoin for the last 2 cycles. So here's the first top on Bitcoin in 2017. Okay. Perfectly confluent with the top on BTC divided by Nvidia. So Bitcoin Nvidia pair is just the pair relationship between Bitcoin's price appreciation versus Nvidia's price appreciation. So once the chart below starts pumping, that means Bitcoin's outperforming Nvidia. Therefore, large cap stocks are having liquidity get drained out of them and rotating down into riskier assets. The riskier assets start to pump towards the end of the cycle. So there you go. Perfect cycle top on Bitcoin is called by this Bitcoin Nvidia pair. Okay, second cycle top, which was 2021. Okay, let's get rid of these right here. So clearly the drawdown was much larger on the double top than what we had this time, and it was also on a longer time frame. BTC Nvidia pair. The last time it made a cycle top on Nvidia is this pair chart down here. We topped out on Bitcoin essentially. Perfect cycle top. Ever since 2021, Nvidia has been outperforming Bitcoin since this top. Nvidia has outperformed Bitcoin for the last however many 4 or 5 years. Okay. So the reason I don't see this as being a double top up here. Okay. So let's get rid of this. The reason I don't believe this is going to be a double top and we roll over from here is because this chart has not broken out significantly yet, meaning that rotation from high alpha down into beta has not taken place yet, which is also clear in the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is also clear in the ETH BTC chart. all the indicators that you would use to show cycle tops and those asset rotations and the riskier assets, or that liquidity rotation and the riskier assets, none of those indicators have gone off yet. So if I simply go off that just tells me the cycle hasn't topped yet. It hasn't ended yet. So that's the difference. So you could use this chart and say, all right, well, we topped on this pair chart below. That was the cycle top for Bitcoin. We topped on this pair chart again. That was cycle top for Bitcoin. Locally, in between cycles, we had this pump on Bitcoin right up into here. This was also whenever this chart pumped. So this entire move from the bottom of the bear market, entire move from the bottom of the bear market to the bull run starting right here, the trend line, right? This entire move up on Bitcoin has taken place without this chart moving up yet. Huge. Cycle's not over. But what do you notice here right at the bottom on this chart? And we were just talking about this inside the Discord with the gentleman. It looks like we finally, in last year, found our bottom on this pair. We've been down only since March of 21. Nvidia's outperformed Bitcoin just until recently, where it's starting to curl up again. Starting to curl up again means what? Same thing here. You find your bottom a couple months before. You start to curl up, bang. You shoot up and you rip and you go parabolic, cycle top. Same thing here. You bottom right here, you start to curl up, boom, cycle top. Here, we bottom, we start to curl up. Watch what's going to happen on this chart. On this next leg up on Bitcoin, boom, you're going to pump up. So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, with the last double top, this chart right here had already pumped to Valhalla, meaning that crypto was outperforming equities. Okay? That hasn't happened this cycle yet. So that gives me confidence that because we finally looked like we bottomed here on this Nvidia chart, on this Bitcoin Nvidia chart, and we're starting to curl up, Bitcoin's starting to outperform equities, which makes sense. It has been over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, right? Equities has been coming down, but Bitcoin has showed incredible strength. Very important, okay? So until I see this chart actually get a parabolic move, I don't think the Bitcoin bull run's over, because this next leg up on Bitcoin will likely be for this cycle, this move, and this move. That's what we're still waiting for. So on this next leg up on Bitcoin, up to like 150, 200,000, we're going to significantly outperform Nvidia. This chart's going to pump. So I like that. I like that confluence. Okay. I love that confluence. So that's one indicator different from the last cycle double top. Okay. So that's why I don't believe this is a double top. The other point I was making with the momentum oscillators with the weekly time frame, okay? So you see Bitcoin's clearly breaking out here. Now, why do I believe we still have room to move? Well, if we put on the RSI, on the weekly, we are still not overbought yet. We've been overbought here, overbought here, overbought here, overbought here, last cycle top, okay? We've not become overbought here yet. Got it? Cool. So we got plenty of room to run on Bitcoin. Another indicator that's telling me that things are going to start turning around. Destructive. Andy Wolf Pepe. He's coming in here, joining the stream immediately and already demanding charts. So the other point that I'm seeing with this altcoin chart is as Bitcoin is starting to break out here, okay? So it's starting to break out. It's not breaking down. It looks like it wants to break out. This others chart, which we've had this drawn out since down in here. So we had it drawn out since this chart was like right around here. We got the rejection. We called this move into the liquidity perfectly. We called this move on the breakout of the trend line. You immediately get a pump. And then from here, but we've been tracking this chart perfectly. So from here, I had drawn out this trend line. I said, all right, cool. From about here, just like we did here, we should start to pull back and retest this mid-range. We pulled back, we retested the mid-range perfectly, and then look what we're starting to do. We're following that arrow up. So that means altcoins also look like they want to go. And they're just waiting for the confirmation from Bitcoin. As soon as Bitcoin puts in that first meat stick up to like 114, 115 and starts running to 120, you're going to see this altcoin chart explode. And you're going to see this move. Bang. Up into here. Just like we did here. The difference is because Bitcoin is going to be in price discovery again, taking another leg up higher. As Bitcoin starts to distribute and move sideways, that's when I believe we get this move on altcoins. Breaking out of this 4-year reaccumulation range and at least smash through this 1.618 up into here. That's your alt season. That's when Andy, Pepe, Wolf, all these things pull 10, 15, 20 X's. That's where we're going, okay? But again, it's all confluent. It's all lining up with each other, so it would make sense for us to start running from here. It would. Even though people are nervous, they're not sure, they don't believe it, I get it, but we should start running. As long as Bitcoin can stick the landing and just push, then we're good. But we have to get the fucking push. Bitcoin has to push here. We have to get to 120. So... But the fact that we're refusing to get a pullback on Bitcoin right now is very, very good because it's showing incredible strength. So look at this, right? We distributed in this range up here. We lost the range. We nuked, retested the bull market trend, did a false breakdown to shake everybody out. This was a great shakeout. Reclaimed the bull market trend perfectly while at the same time breaking the downtrend. Pump straight back up into the range. If you get range lows, we get range highs. What did I say? You get range lows, I said expect range highs. Easy long from here. Bang. You hit the range highs. Bang. Now we broke range highs. Highest weekly close ever on Bitcoin right here, which was last week. This was the highest weekly close ever. So you see the candle closed up in here. We had the highest daily close ever, which is yesterday. Okay. These are all confirmations for breakouts. Yes. Does it seem like it shouldn't be happening? Possibly. But it is happening, right? And we're not breaking down. So I would expect the rotation into Pepe, into Doge, you see curling up. Pepe is basically the same chart, curling up. Others is curling up. These altcoins want to run. Okay. Ethereum, I mean, we pretty much know ETH is going to pump with Bitcoin. Now, here's the concerning part. Okay, here's the reason that some people are concerned about this move. Okay, let's first take a look at equities. I'll show you the good, actually. I'll show you the good first. So in equity land, what's going on in equities while we're looking at our Bitcoin Chad? Good news was the VIX closed the gap that we created on this gap down right here. Okay, so the VIX spike took place here in April. Okay, this is the bottom of the equities market. Then we pretty much V-shape recovered. We pump all the way back down, and we created this little gap right here. Okay, there's your gap. Okay, fantastically, we came back up in and then wicked up and closed this entire gap. Gaps like to get closed in equities, right? If you create a gap, at some point you expect that gap to get filled. Beautiful. So we pumped up, we got our gap fill, which in turn gave us the pullback on equities yesterday. So you see that pullback, right? So that's good. Now the DXY can go back to getting crushed and moving back into hopefully this demand zone down in here. If that takes place, that means equities is going to continue to move up higher, which is going to be a good tailwind for crypto. If equities are moving up higher, Bitcoin's going to move up higher, crypto's going to move up higher. So we need that to happen. That's good. We need that to happen. Okay. And I was expecting this pullback up in here. So it looks like we're starting to get it. Could come all the way back down into here. Okay. So here's the issue though. Here's our issue. Well, let's actually do one more time, DXY, because we got to talk about the US dollar. This we've called out perfectly as well. Breakdown from here, breakdown from here. We got it. Lost this major demand. So look at this major demand zone on DXY. We finally lost this major demand right in here, right? Okay. This is from back in March of 2022, so last cycle. Okay. December, January 21, May 21, this was the peak of last bull run, was whenever DXY hit its bottom, right? Double bottom. This was December 17, was the 2 cycles ago bull run, peak of the bull run. In February, January, March of 2021 was the top of the second bull run, okay, last cycle. So it called the top on both previous bull runs perfectly. When DXY was bottomed out, risk assets were at all-time highs. Makes sense, right? Because if the US dollar is weak, risk assets are strong. Okay, it's a pair trade. So look at what's happening right now in the DXY. We still haven't had DXY come anywhere near where the last 2 bull runs had topped out at, which was this demand zone down here. Well, look at this. We're starting to break down. If we lose this major level, this major demand zone that has kept us afloat since 2022, oops. Oh my fuck. Here we go. We're coming back down into here. And then eventually, because it looks like we're starting to break down, right? We got to bounce back into our supply. We rejected off of our supply because this was demand. So we're rejecting off of our supply. Now we can take this, turn it from demand into overhead supply. So we're starting to break down. If we can break down and get back down into this demand zone, little spot right here, and then back into here, that's going to likely call the top of this bull run. Okay? So that's huge. Huge. All that looks incredibly good. This is the problem that we have, though. We got to get this fixed. Okay? This is a problem. So our bonds, our bond yields are pumping right now. Okay? Historically, as bonds are going up, stocks are not performing well. Okay? If bonds are over 4.5%, that means equities typically return about 1 to 2% per year. Not good. When bond yields are below 4.5%, equities typically return 20% per year. Big fucking difference. Why? Because if there's no reason for people to hold bonds, they're going to buy risk assets. But if the yields on bonds are so high, there's an incentive for them to buy US treasuries. People are going to flow liquidity out of risk assets, out of markets, and they're going to flow them into the bonds because it's a safe return on investment. We got to get this fixed. And when I say we, I mean Pompino and the Fed. They got to get this number down so we incentivize people to put money into risk assets. This is our only problem right now. Because originally, we were looking good. We got up into here. January 25, that's whenever we were starting to nuke in crypto. And we started breaking down. We broke down. We finally got back down into here in April, which is beautiful. And what we were expecting was a retest of the overhead supply. So we pulled down into here. And we got that. We pumped right back into our supply. The problem is that we didn't break down from there. We just kept moving up. Rejected, came right back into the supply zone. Who could have foreseen? Pumped right back up into it. And now we broke through and we turned this back into demand. Not good. Not good at all, actually. So that's the only reason why this move in crypto could be stifled, is because we just flipped this shit, both of these levels back into demand, which is not good. We need these bonds to get below 4.5%. That's the magic number, below 4.5%. So yeah, just not good. It's just not good. It really isn't. So we'll see what they do about that. We need to get that to come down. We also need the Fed to start cutting those fucking rates. Okay. So now let's take a look at, so that's the bonds. Outside of that, everything else looks beautiful, right? In terms of others chart, looks like it's about to fucking rip face, go into price discovery. Well, not from here, but it looks like it's going to break out and go higher. Oops. Wasn't supposed to show that. This Bitcoin Nvidia pair, like I was saying, this one, once we see this pump to new highs or pump up, right, up into these regions. This was also, this called every cycle top, actually, for crypto. It called the 13 cycle top, the 17 cycle top, and the 21 cycle top. Called them all perfectly on Bitcoin. So we just need something like this. That's the top. There's whatever parabolic move we can get. What was the other pair chart I was going to show you guys? We can look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC also is showing us that the cycle isn't over, because this chart tops out whenever the cycle tops out. That's that final risk rotation, liquidity rotation down into further beta. We look like we put in a clear trying to bottom here. Hopefully this was the lowest it's ever been since last cycle, right? Or 2 cycles ago. Yeah. Last cycle. We look like we're going to start moving up higher on this, which is good. Pepe. All right. So here's the beauty of these charts. Clearly, the appetite for altcoins is coming back. So Pepe off the lows is already up 2.5x. So you would do 2.5x your money from the lows. Okay. Bitcoin goes into price discovery. ETH gets a catch-up trade. $7x on Pepe at least. 7x on Pepe at least. Okay? Why? Because obviously, why not? If Bitcoin goes into price discovery again, an aggressive price discovery, we're likely topping out at 150, 155. When you get that catch-up trade on Ethereum and you get all that money rotated down into Ethereum, which is valuation is much lower than what it was previous to Bitcoin being at these prices, you're going to see the rotation into Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett, and it's going to be sick. So you've pretty much front ran this 1.618 on Pepe the first time. You get Bitcoin to new highs, ETH to new highs, you're going to not only rip through this 1.618, but you're going to fucking send it up to this 2.618 at the least. At the least. Okay? Just depending on how heated up we get this cycle, because these are on log. So yeah, you're doing a 7x just from these levels. Just from these levels. From the lows, you're looking at 16, 17x, which makes sense. 17x off of the lows. So Pepe is going to fucking run. Another interesting, and Dogecoin is going to run too. Pepe and Doge are pretty much the same chart. Let me do it like this. So you get this big pump, which was in November. Pepe, Doge pretty much did the same thing. Both drew down heavy. Did this kind of a double bottom situation. Pepe a little bit more strength because it did a real double bottom. And then they both pumped up quick, and then they're doing this little curl. Building short to go long, right? Remember, we've talked about this before. You build short to go long. You created a little downward channel, right? And then look, see, it's starting to break out of this downward channel. So these things should start breaking out pretty soon. Pepe, you're going to see the same thing, right? You do a little downward channel, right? You build short, you break out of the channel, you're going to go long, okay? So you're going to see Pepe run. Here's what's interesting about Pepe and Doge, okay? Look at this. This is the Pepe Doge chart, okay? This is Pepe divided by Doge. So when this chart is going up, Pepe is outperforming. It's a better hold than Dogecoin. When this chart is coming down, Dogecoin is a better hold than Pepe. Why is this significant? You're about to see the rotation. And you're already seeing the rotation from Doge into Pepe. Clear demand zone, right? Overhead supply here. We rejected. We finally broke through it, came back down, retested the demand, or turned the supply into demand, retested, boom, we pumped. Come back right down into demand again. Bottomed right at the same spot where we did last time. The reason this is important to pay attention to is because traders are looking at this chart, and this is how they're determining whether or not to hold Doge or Pepe. What are you seeing right now? We're starting to break out from this demand zone. Now we're at this overhead supply. Very clear level right here. Okay, it's a very clear supply level. Look what we're doing right now. We're chewing through it. So what's going to happen on this next leg on Bitcoin as we start to break out and Pepe and Dogecoin start to break out? Pepe is going to be a better hold than Doge because this chart is bullish. This is a bullish chart. This chart wants higher. So now you can make the decision, okay, well, Doge might go up 100%, but Pepe is going to go up 200%. Based off of this chart alone, you can tell that. This is a bullish chart. So this is why we hold the boys club. We hold Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett because they're higher Ethereum beta. But this cycle, Pepe is going to outperform Dogecoin. Just based off this chart, that's what it looks like it's going to do. So what you're going to see happen is on this pair chart, you're going to get this breakthrough, this supply region. You're going to come right up into here, over this overhead supply. Maybe do something like this, and then you're going to see it break to new highs. That's important because you want to make sure you're outperforming those major assets. So people that, they might be holding their Dogecoin because that's all they know about, when in reality, Pepe and the boys clubs are going to be the ones outperforming. So you're probably going to get some type of reaction in here. Okay. And then you blast off to new highs. How do you tell where the new highs are going to go? Well, let's take a look at some fibs. We could do fibs. This is clearly the range low. Look at that. See? Perfect fibs. Perfect range. So here's range low, where we bottomed out and topped out here in the past. Clearly, as soon as you break the mid-range, you pump hard. You reject at the top of the range. Reject at the top of the range. As soon as you lose the mid-range, you come all the way back down to the bottom. Come back up, retest the mid-range. Come back up, retest the mid-range perfectly. Look where these wicks hit. Okay? So clearly this is the range. So what you would see happen on this evaluation is Pepe, just like it started down here, it was, worth this much against Dogecoin, bear market, pumped up, boom, hit this level, lost value against Dogecoin. Now we're going to pump back up, bang. And we might not even get this pullback. We might just straight fucking rip it, right? But this would be the fib. This would be the evaluation I would expect to see on Pepe. When Pepe hits this evaluation on the pair chart against Doge, that's whenever you see Pepe at 50 billion. If we really heat up 100 billion, that's when shit's going to get fucking stupid for the beta, okay? Because if you see Pepe Doge chart do this, you see Pepe hit this. Oops. Pepe, just something like this. You're going to see Andy and Wolf do disgusting numbers because let's change this into, I'm going to actually save this pair chart. Do I have it? Let's see. ETH, BTC. No, I don't. This is a good pair chart to save. Okay, and we're going to put this with my pair charts up in here. Okay. This is BTC NVIDIA. This is ETH BTC. And then we got Pepe Doge. Look at this. Beautiful. But these are soul means. Fuck, I saved the wrong one. Hold on. Let's make sure we're set here properly. Yeah, I didn't do the correct one. Fuck. All right. That's fine. So this is the pair chart for Pepe Doge. Okay? This is how I want to see this play out. Pepe is fucking primed, though. This is primed. This is ready to fucking rock. Okay? This thing is curled. It wants higher as long as we can just get this move on Bitcoin to finally take place. Okay? All right, Destructive. You said you wanted Andy, Wolf, Pepe. So you got Pepe. You want to see Andy and Wolf? I'll give you a little Andy and Wolf. So let's go. Let's actually take a look at Brett. Oh, yeah, Andy and Wolf will finally get some catch-up trades here. There we go. There we go, gentlemen. Brett is at a fantastic spot as well. Beautiful curl up. Okay, here are some targets for you. I'll show you the first target. $6.3 billion market cap. Right now we're at 760 on Brett. So that's a 10x for Brett to the next fib. 10x for Brett from here. Beautiful. We like that. Brett's had a good spot too because it looks like it's about to reclaim its mid-range as soon as we make the next move up higher. See what happened last time we were at the mid-range? Well, if you're at the mid-range and you break through the mid-range, what's the next stop? Top of the range. So you're going to probably see a move like this. Reclaiming the range. Get this move right here. It's a 2.5x. Okay. And then if we get this next leg up higher on ETH and Bitcoin, then you would expect to see Brett smack a 8x. Okay. 8x, 10x from here. Okay, so that's Brett. Brett is at a great spot, right at the mid-range, looking to try to reclaim it. That's going to be a quick snap up to the top of the range, right? So look, retest the mid-range, quick snap up. Break through the mid-range. This one was just fucking insane. This one just went straight through the mid-range. As soon as you reclaim it, bang, straight to the top. Retest mid-range a couple times, boom. Okay, so there's Brett. 6.3 billion is the first target. Andy, look at this. Who could have foreseen? Drew this out over here. Okay, I said if you get back into this demand zone, you want to be aping in here. Well, guess what we did last night in the Discord? Aped right in here. Okay, this is the buy zone for Andy. Okay, Andy is still below the mid range. So once we reclaim the mid range on Andy, you're gonna see a quick snap up to the 1. Okay, so Andy's at a lower evaluation than Brett right now comparatively on their charts. This is a fantastic buy zone for Andy down in here, okay? Anywhere on or in this demand zone. So we're a little bit above it right now. Pepe would be the first move before the rest of the boys club. Correct. You're going to see Pepe move first. So don't be alarmed whenever you see Pepe rip a 100% move, starts a double, triple, and then you're looking at Andy and Wolf thinking, well, what the fuck's going on? Why aren't they running yet? It's always delayed, right? It's a beta. So the rotation of capital is going to move down into the lower risk assets or to higher risk assets, lower market cap. And then that's when you're going to see them start to run. So see Pepe move first. We need Pepe to run, which it looks like it's about to run against Doge as well. So it's going to run hard. Then you're going to see Brett, Andy, Wolf fucking rip. So that's why you see Pepe. Andy's still below the mid-range, but Pepe is above its mid-range. So look at the confluence, right? This shows you how this beta is so perfectly correlated. So Pepe is above its mid-range already of its range. Brett is at the mid-range. It's the next risk asset, right? So it's a little bit lower beta to Pepe. So Pepe ran first. Brett's running second. It's at the mid-range. Andy is the third, so it's even behind Brett. So it's not even at the mid-range yet, but that's why you have more potential for upside. Wolf is a little bit different because Wolf, and look, same thing with Wolf. I said this is the demand zone on Wolf. Once you get a retest into here, that's when you want to ape. This is when you should have been aping, right in this demand zone right here. Wolf is a little bit different because it ran similar to how Pepe ran, where it broke out and actually front ran the 1.618. So it went up higher than what Andy had done on its chart. So Wolf actually broke out to the 1.618 last run up. Andy never broke out of its range. It's actually still in this massive reaccumulation range. Okay. So Wolf went up higher. And so the reclaim of the mid-range was easier because the liquidity pool is thinner on Wolf. So it moves more erratically. But it is reclaimed to the mid-range is more like Pepe. Okay. But these are where the charts are at. Wolf this time, though, we get a run to new all-time highs. You're getting 30x, which I know sounds insane, but that's just what it's gonna be. So it'll run and it'll do a 30x on Wolf. Okay, unbelievable. What we were looking at on last stream, and I've been putting this inside the Discord as well. I've talked about this a couple of times. I've thrown the chart in there a couple of times from back down in here. Hype is absolutely chatting. Almost a 3x from there, from the lows, 3.5x from this. I mean, you probably wouldn't have caught that, but 3.5x. Okay. Hype is absolutely ripping. Good news. Why? Because this is a risk-on indicator. This is an altcoin. So people have an appetite for risk. Fartcoin. Well, let me pull up this Fartcoin. I showed you exactly what was going to happen on Fartcoin. I believe I showed it on stream, but I definitely put it in the Discord. I said, your best case scenario for a pullback, because I was getting in on it down in here on this 3 tag at the demand. Your best case scenario on a pullback on Fartcoin was going to be back into this demand zone. And this is whenever it was up in here. What happens? We get the perfect pullback into the demand. This is where you want to been aping. It's breaking out right now. So Fartcoin, the reason I've bought them and what's it called? The reason I bought Fartcoin and Hype is because I knew obviously they were going to be risk on. They were clearly risk on indicators for this next leg up. Is because I wanted to see what they were doing, because these are going to be the leaders for the market. So if Hype is breaking out and Fartcoin is breaking out again, that means we're getting prepared for, which obviously this is breaking out right now, which is Bitcoin. But then we're getting prepared for this chart to start breaking out, for ETH to start breaking out, for Pepe to start breaking out, because they're going to be a little bit delayed behind Fartcoin and Hype. Those are clearly the 2 market leaders. So you follow the market leaders. If Hype is breaking out, which, I mean, look at this shit. Insane. Fartcoin's starting to just break out here. Then you're going to see Doge is just a little bit behind. It's going to get a catch up, breakout. Pepe is just a little delayed. Going to catch up, breakout. It's just, I like it. It looks good. Everything looks like it's going to fucking send. We just need the final confirmation on Bitcoin. Final confirmation on Bitcoin, we rip. The one other thing, too, that I keep looking at is the global liquidity. This also gives me more confidence as we're going up higher, because global liquidity, it's going up, right? So what I say, this is a leading indicator, okay? This comes up, Bitcoin follows. This comes down, Bitcoin comes down. This comes up and now is new all-time highs and continuing to curl up. Bitcoin is followed by what? Moves up, okay? So it's just another piece of confidence is saying, all right, well, more liquidity is hitting markets. More liquidity is hitting economies because these global banks are deciding to move money into these systems. That's good for price action, okay? Ethereum, whenever Bitcoin takes its next move, should be at least 3,200 to 3,500. And then we'll see from there. Because the other point to make too with the pair chart is with ETH BTC like this, as Bitcoin starts to pump, if we start outperforming on ETH BTC, then you should see Ethereum catching up a lot faster. So if Bitcoin goes to 155, let's say Bitcoin goes to 155,000, which is the next logarithmic target, then I would say Ethereum should be at the least up in here, back to 5,000. Ideally, though, if we actually get the catch-up trade we need, we should hit the first fib, and ETH should be at 6,000. Okay, so I'd expect ETH to go to 6,000 on the move from Bitcoin up to 155. Okay, at least. If we catch up and we do a nice catch-up trade, then it would be even higher than that. But under promise, over deliver, always operate that way. Okay, so that's what I would expect Ethereum to go to. But yeah, the global liquidity is going up, so it's telling me, all right, well, Bitcoin should keep going up. And Bitcoin doesn't want to come down. It's been spending the whole day above 11,000. It's at 11,005. So if we put back on the RSI, so we still have space. We're still not overbought yet, right? So I'm liking it, gentlemen. I'm liking it. I've put all the trades inside the Discord. We've been printing the last week or two off of these longs. We've been ripping some longs. We took profits on some nice shorts. We hit some bangers. So let's go back into here. But yeah, ETH is just waiting for confirmation from Bitcoin. It's just waiting. It's curling up just like Pepe, just like Dogecoin. It's the same exact chart here. Pumped up, build short to go long. It's just waiting for Bitcoin to rip up to 120 and start moving. So that's about it, gentlemen. I mean, you guys know what it is. If you're not inside the Discord already, obviously you're missing out on the alpha. You're missing out on the money-making plays. You know, you can come to these streams and take a look and see what we're talking about, understand our expertise, understand that we're making money this whole cycle. But unless you're actually positioning, when we're positioning, entering trades, getting the market analysis on a daily basis like we do inside the Discord, you're going to be missing out. You're going to be missing out on a ton of opportunity because you would have missed out on this. You would have missed out on this. And you would have missed out on double bottom on Pepe, Brett, Andy, Wolf, everything. Here's the other thing too with Bitcoin. We'll actually take a look at this real quick. Another cycle indicator that we haven't topped out yet is this one. We still haven't topped out on Bitcoin dominance yet. When Bitcoin dominance starts to nuke, that's your alt season. That's whenever Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett all see the most ridiculous price appreciations. This entire cycle, Bitcoin dominance has been going up and we've been still outperforming Bitcoin, which is amazing. We haven't had the tailwind of Bitcoin dominance nuking. Bitcoin dominance nuking means that all the liquidity, money from Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin is flowing into Ethereum, XRP, Solana, lower betas, which then in turn pumps our bags harder. Up in here was December 2020. Bang, we nuked hard. This was alt season right here. April 21. That's whenever Dogecoin went to 100 billion, 90 billion market cap. Did 100x from January to May or April. Last cycle top, alt season, right in here, 17, 18. Called it perfectly. So again, the reason I say this cycle isn't over, why? Because we haven't had that move yet that we've had here and we've had here. We're just waiting for it to happen again. Okay? That's what we're positioning for, gentlemen. And we're going to get fucking rich when that happens. So I expect one more last leg up on Bitcoin. Again, it's all confluent. It all makes sense. You get one more leg up on Bitcoin up to 155,000, 160,000, which would take us to Bitcoin dominance, would raise up higher. We hit right into this supply region, just like we did last cycle. And then what would happen? Boom. There's your alt season. And that's this chart going all the way up into here and breaking out of our 4-year range up into here. Understand? And there you go. There's your target. Put that out there for a second. All right. Cool. Oh, showed that one again. Whoops. And let's get back out of this. All right, gentlemen. That's the fucking play. All right. Bitcoin 11.7. Come on, baby. Break out. Let's fucking rock it. Get us to 112. Look, that's what I'm saying. Bitcoin just keeps going. It doesn't want to stop. It's going for it, gentlemen. It's going for it. Bitcoin is going for it. 11.8. Come on, baby. Ah. Should we watch live on stream till we hit 112? Look at that. I'm fucking 5, 6 espresso shots deep, and I'm... By the way, we have about 25 live viewers across all platforms. Not bad. It's not bad, gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe on the page. If you're on Twitter, do me a favor. Give me a fucking retweet, huh? Let's get all your friends rich. If you're not already inside the Discord, link is in the description, okay? Click on the link, join as a professional, join as a gentleman. Gentlemen, I would recommend at the very least. Why? Because then you're going to get access to the private crypto plays portion of the Discord, which is going to be my positioning, my trades, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. I'll do individual portfolio analysis for you. So I'll take a look at your port, help you pick whatever assets you got to get into, how you want to split it up, etc. I also manage portfolios for many different gentlemen. That's a separate service that's just, you pay monthly basically for me to manage your bags. I do that as well. If you don't have the time to actually sit here and do what we're doing, completely fine. But join the network. We got a bunch of fucking winners in there. We got people who are making money. We got people who want to do it. Yeah, do it, folks. Come on. And we're ripping to new all-time highs. So what else could you ask for? Bitcoin's about to rip to new all-time high. I mean, it is right now at all-time highs. But we're going to rip to Valhalla. And you guys don't want to be in a position where you miss generational wealth again because Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett, the other coins that we're buying inside the Discord that I don't talk about on stream are all going to rip to new highs. And then you're going to see a bunch of 18, 20-year-olds driving around in Lamborghinis, McLarens, Ferraris. And you're going to think to yourself, I'm 40 years old and I'm still living in my fucking parents' house. I'm 40 years old and I still drive a Honda. Why? Why would you still do that whenever you're watching once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pass through your just literally pass right in front of you? Look at it. Bitcoin's at all-time highs, player. People aren't even hyped up about talking about it. That's good. You know why that's good? If nobody's talking about it, if it's not on the news, if nobody's talking about it, if everybody's still bearish, if everybody's still afraid that Bitcoin's going to go much higher, that's exactly when it's going to go that much higher. Okay? This is good. This is good. I love that they're not talking about it on the news right now. I love that people aren't losing their minds about it right now. That is perfect. When you want to get nervous and you should start jeeting is whenever everybody is bulled to the tits, everybody and their brothers talking about Bitcoin and altcoins. Fucking Jim Cramer saying Bitcoin's going to half a million dollars. That's when you jeet. But nobody's hitting me up right now. Nobody's fucking, the Discord's not growing as fast as it was, etc. Because people are bearish right now. That's good. That's exactly when you want to get in. Because as soon as we hit 120,000, as soon as Bitcoin hits 120,000, people start getting bulled to the tits again, and your cousin starts calling you asking about crypto again, that's whenever you know, all right, baby, we're heated back up. But you want to be positioned beforehand, okay? So outside of that, gentlemen, I will see you guys again. I'm doing another trip on Saturday, so you may see me on Saturday, maybe Sunday, but we'll get one cracking here soon. All right, gentlemen, I'll see you guys inside the Discord for those of you that are in there. And outside of that, let's do a little more. Mr. Producer. Ready? Hold on. No, do this one. Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer. Also have the discipline to actually survive the entire cycle. Don't be afraid. And be disciplined to sit the entire cycle out until you know it's time to G. Okay? Well, that's what I'm here for, to help you guys if you don't know when that is. But people take profits way too soon. People get way too excited. People get way too down. People quit. People sell too early, etc. Patience. Okay? I've been at this 2 years plus, just this cycle, accumulating, positioning, accumulating, positioning, accumulating, positioning. 2+ years just from this cycle. And I've been in crypto. The first time I bought crypto was in 2017. Yeah, 2017, whenever Bitcoin was ripping to highs. I remember I was in college. That was the first time I was buying crypto. So don't lose sight of the vision, okay? It takes time. But those who wait, those who are consistent, those who keep showing up, those who keep accumulating, those who understand what the cycle looks like are going to be the winners at the end of the day. The day traders are going to get smoked. The leverage traders are going to get smoked. The Jeets are going to get smoked. The hodlers are going to get smoked. You got to be the swing trader. You got to be the guy who says, at the lows when everybody's afraid, I'm buying. And at the highs when everybody's euphoric and think it's going to go that much higher and I'm going to hodl forever, you Jeet. But the time has not come yet to jeet. Soon, though. No, not necessarily that soon, but now's the time to accumulate, gentlemen. All right. Outside of that, stream ending. Naeem, I will not be sending back your Bangladeshi honeys. They stay with me. Send more if you have them, though. And we'll talk soon, gentlemen. All right. I'll see you guys inside the Discord.